am from Uganda. I am from Uganda. Everybody?
I am from Uganda.
And somebody who comes from Uganda is called?
Ugandans.
When they are transferred from the centers to schools, you find that most of them know how to read and write. Although they don't know English, they know how to read their names, how to write their names. And somebody who comes from Egypt is called?
Egyptian.
Good. You find they are better than those other children because they have already known some skills of some words, how the words are arranged.
The increased enrolment has also helped the school access additional resources.
We had a few teachers, but when the enrollment became high, the teachers were also transferred. Buildings are also brought because of higher enrollment. Even the UP, Universal Primary Education, money has been increased somehow. We also have few instructional materials like books, just because we can now access some money. Earlier on, there was nothing.
These additional resources are vital for schools to create an environment where children can learn and others can be encouraged to attend.
And I'm pleased that there is some improvement according to the past years. Well, a few families only could take their children to school, those ones who saw the value of education. But now everybody is interested in taking the children to school. That is the end of the lesson. The rest of the work you will bring and I mark from the staff room. Is that clear?
Yes.
And we shall continue tomorrow. Thank you.
One role model for all Karamojong children is former Naitakwai pupil Mark Lolly. 18-year-old Mark is the first ABEC pupil to join secondary school and reach Senior 5 level, the equivalent of lower 6th.
Before ABEC, actually I was a shepherd. That was my daily work. As a young person, always in Karamoja, your work is to look after animals, cows, goats. That was my life. The idea of going to school was really, it was not allowed in my place. If you go to school, yeah, it's like an outcast, somebody who has run away from the society. We feared such things. We never wanted that life.
But a chance encounter with ABEC soon changed Mark's opinion.
In the morning, when I just went out of the village, I had a chance to get the people under the tree. They were learning. Teacher told me, you come and write your name. I was given a slate. I practiced for only 2 days. I knew how to write my name. That's the first thing which made me to be at school.
It was this move into education that led Mark away from the dangers of the cattle raiding lifestyle.
You know, in Karamoja, as you grew up, the first thing to begin with to practice how to handle a gun. But I realized the killing in Karamoja, it was that useless. I found that school makes a person change their mind, that human life is worth something.
Mark is now a student at St Paul's College in Mbale, a district bordering the Karamoja region. He's excelled in the sciences and wants to work as a doctor in his home region after he finishes studying.
Elements of Group 2 are similar in their properties, although barium shows a significant difference in its properties from the rest of the group members. The way I look at Mark, he falls in that group of Karamojong who want to forget of their past. Students who want to bring a change to their region. And sometimes I wish that if maybe we could have around maybe 1,000 of such students planted in their region, they would cause a very big change. That's one thing I see. Mark really counts.
And if the parents are telling me, those ones who used to hate me are telling me, after a year, you just go to school, next time you have to come and become an MP, member of parliament. So I do tell the parents, I do influence them to take their children to school.
We have 2.87, 2.89, 2.90.
My dreams in the future, at least to make sure that I appreciate what education has given to me as far as Karamoja is concerned. If I can also build a school just for To appreciate that I went to school because of I think it is good. I think I also put a school.
Despite the success of pupils like Mark and the increasing influence of the ABEC program, there's still a long way to go in the development of education in Karamoja.
We have the lowest enrollment, we have the lowest literacy rate, we have the lowest indicative figures in development. So the region is still lying very low.
We've been trying to advocate for the needs of Karamoja through all of the different tools available to the development and humanitarian community, through emergency appeals, through development planning frameworks, 5-year cycles, 1-year cycles. Through some of those efforts and through launching of education conferences in the districts, launching go to school, stay in school, back to school campaigns through the districts, we've had very positive involvement from the national authorities and the national media, and through that have managed to set up a national task force within the Ministry of Education and Sports focused on education in Karamoja.
One initiative that UNICEF has helped launch is the Girls' Education Movement, designed to use the power of peer influence to encourage girls and boys into and back to school.
The Girls' Education Movement links up with the Girls' Education Initiative, which is a global UN initiative launched by Kofi Annan in Senegal in 2001. The education movement is basically the children's own peer support and advocacy movement, and in fact the girls' own movement. But there are many boys who join this movement in support, which is a fabulous development. It's a way for female children to express out their needs, their desires about having access to education. We have 1,200 cases that we've been able to quantify so far across the whole of northern Uganda, where the girls' education movement has actually been the critical factor for that family or for that child to attend. I think that's a gross underestimation. I think we are still struggling with the reporting mechanisms to give us a full picture of how successful the movement's been, but we're absolutely convinced that it's one of the critical issues fostering the debate in the communities and in the families.
At Nadongyet Primary School, the children are performing a play highlighting the unique challenges to education that they face. One pupil who, against all the odds, has made it back to school is 19-year-old Betty Nakut. After being forced into marriage 5 years ago, Betty was withdrawn from school. Her husband was then killed in a cattle raid, and shortly after, Betty gave birth.
Hello, P3.
Hello, teacher.
What is the day today?
1st October
2007.
7.
Good. Sit down, Betty.
Betty came back to school because she knew that when she goes to school, she's going to study subjects that are going to help her in her life. whether she will continue up to university or she will remain in O level or P7. But the fact remains that the knowledge she is already acquiring is going to help her. It is knowing mathematics. It is going to help Betty in buying and selling whichever community she has it. Then also she's able to communicate using English also. At least she's coming a bit of, knowing a bit of English. With that English, if she concentrates, she'll be able to read and see the signposts when she's going somewhere, and also communicate to the rest of the people.
Despite being laughed at by other girls her age and being under pressure to marry again, Betty's determined to carry on.
Epanene terbang kai tu ke kai klene nikang. Echam to ke sha ke rom lakina bala ke chimia ke de mona odio my school. Ana cha ya karna ita yo ngaren bas. O echam no de night kor patana te ke roma. Echam da nga kidio mana no ruera madam ne atata mengode.
When people like Betty, who are dropped out of school, come back to school, it encourages the rest of the children also to come back to school, and big ones even, like Betty.
People like Betty are helping to change the attitude of the Karamojong to formal schooling, and education could prove to be the vital resource for the survival of the Karamojong.
In the long run, as a region, through these interventions of the education programs and other supporting programs that are being put, I look at a population that is going to lead a better life than the current population, and I see that eventually even the issue of pastoralism will have to transform itself.
In the next decade, I think education in Karamoja will have penetrated and captured about 60% of the community. In the next decade, I am sure, I hope and surely hope that there will be total disarmed society in Karamoja. And with a disarmed society, we shall have a settled society which will be pro-development.
The unearthing of the pen has opened the Karamojong to education, and its value is now being appreciated across the community.
Akwada akareje ko dia ngagipenje ke dolong tu ngotomono nang tamatanga tuga mere ke tuzum papa e ke tuzomo agi yoko ngatuga e ke tuzum papa e ke tuzomo agi chauna takara ngatuga hanru mamuna ne reka ngi ko ne ke tala lo ngere ya lo ngere anya na ana ka tamare uga ke lo kul Kara nang atodit tineka lo malu dulu.
Kwanaga tu tu